We are back with yet again another artist chat here for 1016 Entertainment, and very excited to be able to connect with Jake Fretz today as we got some news this week and it was very exciting about his new single. So, Jake, a huge congratulations. A number one single on More Radio. That's the way to start a new month. Hey.
Hey man, that's a great way to start the year. I'm really excited about that. So thank you for all of you who've been listening and vouching for that song, and thank you for all the radio stations who are sharing that. I was really grateful and really surprised. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
full of joy at this moment.
So if you are a radio enthusiast, I'm sure you've heard Feel the Forgiveness or Feel Your Forgiveness rather on radio. And so why don't we just jump in with music? 2 feet, let's do this
Go for it.
because that's exciting. Feel Your Forgiveness, I think, is resonating really well with a lot of people based on the content
Mm.
and the words that you have in it. So can you share with us a little bit about how you wrote this song and why it's important to share that message?
Yeah. There's a couple things that are going on in this song. One, this is one of those songs that took a long time to write. Partly because the truth and the feeling behind the song came years ago, where one day I was spending some time with my guitar and my Bible open in front of me, and I'm just sitting there in the sunlight. And I remember as I'm praying and I'm playing, God just showed up and just like in this quiet voice, like, "You're free."
Hmm.
And it started to hit me for the first time really in my life that, right, if I'm free, it means I'm forgiven. It means that I get to like let go of the past. What he actually says is the old is gone, the new is now, and this is the life that I get to live into. Um, and so I just started, and it got to the point. Actually, I'll like interrupt my own self on this one, but it got to the point where I even had like other people started to come up to me and go like, "So are you like a new believer? Because you seem like really excited about this." Like way more excited than the people who like have grown up in the church. I'm like, no, like I've grown up in the church, but like this is just hitting me. We are free. This is amazing. Um, so that's where the song began. But ever since then, it probably, over 10 years later, walking that out has actually always been the struggle. So I grew up in a church, grew up in a Christian family. I was always taught about God's love. Was taught about how he cares about us. But what I caught along the way was a lot of shame. I don't
Mhm.
think it was anybody's fault. I don't think anyone was beating down on me per se. Um, but I just ended up catching this like below the surface guilt all the time, where it didn't matter what I did. I just didn't feel like I could get it right. I didn't feel like I was good enough. So it was this really odd place to live, where I had guilt whispering in one ear constantly and the shame whispering in my one ear. And on the
Mhm.
other side, I have Jesus whispering like, no, no, you're free. You're free. You're free. And so this song actually captures that battle, where I felt like I was buried, literally, like I say in the lyrics. This is my story, where I just felt I was buried forever under these things, um, until I kept walking into that forgiveness, and I started listening more to Jesus's words than shame's voice. And as I did that, there was just tremendous amount of grace. One, to enjoy the day. Two, to be able to look in the mirror and not feel bad about myself. And then three, what I didn't think I saw, or which I didn't see coming originally, was this forgiveness led to a living in freedom. So, when it says in Romans 2:4 that it's his kindness that leads us to repentance,
Yeah.
what was really interesting to me was his kindness of saying I was free before I even felt free
Yeah.
actually allowed me to start living free. And then as I live more into this forgiveness, and as I start feeling like, oh yeah, I have nothing to prove today because Jesus proved everything on the cross. So if I have nothing to prove, I'm just going to give him my best. I'm going to give him my best. And I'm going to try to do it with him. And then as I did that, man, that shame started to get replaced with joy in a way that I don't really have words for. I mean, it's just like beyond understanding. It's incredible. So, yeah, this song was really my journey about going from shame to joy and feeling forgiven and living into that forgiveness.
Yeah. How did that change your life? I know that you're a husband and a dad.
Yeah.
How has this helped teach some of those lessons of freedom and forgiveness to your kids in the next generation?
Oh yeah. Well, that's a great question. Day by day is probably the shortest answer,
Yeah.
because I think I still have to do that every single day, like anybody else. And some days are definitely easier than others because we're all human. Um, but two two things that I think are really particular to forgiveness is one, when you realize that you've been forgiven, it becomes easier to forgive others. And in that way, and I guess what I mean by this, or mean by that, is that when you have the grace to be able to realize that you're not perfect and you don't have to prove yourself in that way, then you stop asking the other people around you to prove themselves as well. And there's a lot of more grace for the time that it takes to grow, and for the time it takes to learn how to live in freedom, and it learns how to develop as a human being. So yeah, whether that's in the workplace or whether in my immediate family, between a conversation with my husband, or with my wife, between husband and wife, or with my kids, yeah, there's a lot more grace for the time that it takes to grow. There's a lot more grace for us to just get it wrong and allow it to be not a deciding stamp on your life. Man, you were wrong. No,
Yeah.
you've got the moment wrong, but we can learn from that. And so there becomes also a vulnerability where you're able to express, you're able to talk about the things that you get wrong all the time, and
Yeah.
how we're growing. So yeah, it's actually brought a lot of freedom in the conversation and in the relationships that we have as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What a beautiful way of being able to now relate to your family. And
Mm.
music has been your way of expressing that. Musically, what kind of season do you find yourself in? Are we going to get more music from you in 2025, or what does the landscape look like?
Yeah, you know what? 2024 was this interesting season where I went into the studio and started preparing a lot of songs.
Mhm.
But that process took a lot longer than we thought it was going to take, and that was because we wanted to mine for the best songs that we could actually, share with others. So what's really exciting is that this year is now the year where we're going to be able to share all of those songs. So I have 5 more songs that are already done and ready and scheduled that will be coming out for everybody this year. Actually, I have 1 more coming out in 3 weeks, which is pretty great. And I'm really excited about. And then I have more already in production and more in pre-production. So I'm in this great season of where maybe over the first couple of years of my career of releasing music, I was trying to figure out, can I do this?
Yeah.
And then once you start to figure out, like, okay, I can do this, you start to ask the question, should I do this? Like, is this important? Is my voice actually important? Is it valuable? But I'm finding myself wrestling, or I found that I've wrestled through those questions, and now it's, no, I can do this. Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this. And now I'm in a season where this year I get to share a lot of my heart and a lot of the heart I have for our congregation and for our church in Canada. And I'm going to get to share a lot of music to be able to express that. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited, and I'm really hopeful in the way that it'll be able to speak into our church's culture here in Canada.
You're talking about sharing the music with Canada, but you also been sharing the writing room with a lot of Canadian artists. Talk to me about some of the collaborations that you've been up to.
Yeah, do you know what? It's kind of been this fun mix where one guy that's been really influential in my life over the last year has been Jordan Jansen. So, he's got a release out there on radio that's like ahead of mine on the list and everything. And it's been really fun to be able to learn a lot from him. So on one hand, he's a great example of some of the more experienced writers that I've been able to sit in the room with. On the flip side, I've always cared about helping others learn. And I've always been one who wants to have a growth mentality and wanting to learn from others, like Jordan. So I've been in the writing room with a couple of some friends of mine, Nathan, Ryan, and as a meeting with those guys. Oh, and meeting with Cynthia Locke, worked with her last year too, and that was a great way that we were able to connect together and just be able to write another great song together. But as I'm writing and as we're learning and as I'm coming along some more emerging artists, it's been really great, 1, to learn their heart, 2, to learn a new perspective in the room, because I might have a little more experience in the room, but I definitely don't have their perspective. They have great things to say. And then, yeah, I've actually been dabbling in production as well. So now I've started to produce some of these songs that we're working with, and co-producing with with Tyson Unraw, who produced Feel Your Forgiveness, and in that way. So yeah, it feels like I'm getting to stretch my wings into new arenas of creativity. Pretty exciting.
Do you have a favorite arena? Or is that like picking a favorite child? Depends on the day.
Yeah, no. I mean, no, the answer is no. You don't have a favorite child.
Oh,
They're all special. They're all special, Harley.
I'm still learning.
You're learning. It's okay. No. You know what? I think it would depend on the day. I'm really grateful for the way Christian radio serves our country. I've also found some newfound favor on YouTube and the way that I'm releasing music videos, and that's a new endeavor that we've started into, is working with videographers and helping people to see the song, not just hear the song. So that's something that's brand new. So in that way, it's exciting because it's new, but I'm also been quite surprised at the way that people are responding to that. So I didn't expect for, um, this is the first video, or Feel Your Forgiveness is the first song I made a music video for. And in doing that, it was kind of a new endeavor. We were hoping it was going to work, but to have, hundreds of thousands of views and to have like 20,000 subscribers suddenly jump on the train who are just like, oh, we're supporting this. That's been really rewarding and really surprising. And it's also really encouraging to think that that's a way that we can minister to others as well.
Yeah.
So in actuality, in 3 days' time, I have another music video shoot. We already have another music video shoot that's scheduled after that. And so being able to produce video content to be able to help people connect with the songs and connect with music and hopefully connect with God, it's just a new part of the creative endeavors. So
I feel, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just like, I just realized I didn't answer your original question, but I mean,
in the perfect way of a politician, of course. There's no
Hey,
favorite.
I'm no politician. I'm an artist. I want to create and shape culture as an artist, not as a guy, as a lawmaker.
Right. As a policymaker, that's funny. So I feel like when you came onto the music scene, there was already this massive shift. Digital was not just a fad.
Right.
As you've already mentioned, now the visual component is also, I would say, equally as important, where there was a lull where music videos, much music, that kind of vein. Yes, get your music video. Then there was like, what's the point? And now there's that resurgence of being able to see musical art being displayed in a visual way.
Yeah,
How has it been as an artist navigating these constant changes in the music industry and still trying to be able to effectively and meaningfully reach the audience out there?
Okay, so there's probably a couple ways to answer this. I think probably the first best way and most honest way to answer this is that it still needs, no matter what we're doing, it still needs to be about people connecting with people. And as we connect with people, we help them connect with God.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what medium we're using. That still has to stay the heart of it, which becomes really difficult. So to answer part of your question, becomes a little difficult and blurry when you start measuring metrics of views and streams and how fast is it sitting on a chart? Is it not sitting on a chart? That becomes hard for the validation process.
Yeah.
And so what I've found is really important is to have a home church and a community that I'm grounded in, who they can speak into my life. They know all the good stuff. They've seen the Instagram reels, but they've also seen behind the Instagram reels, and they know what I'm like, grumpy coming out of the office without having a cup of coffee, right? Like I need those people in my life. So if you're not able to ground yourself in community, I think it's really difficult, because what you end up painting for yourself is this facade of whatever or however you're depicted online.
Right.
So that's the first part of the struggle. The other side of it, as an artist, as you start to navigate these different mediums, I did some research a little over a decade ago of what the history of Western music has looked like and the trends that's happened within it. And what you always end up seeing is this funny kind of pendulum swing, which is not atypical, but this pendulum swing of where music becomes really accessible, and then it's focused on accessibility, and then it swings back after everybody has it and everybody can play it and everybody can write a song, and then it swings back and then it becomes about excellence. And this is where you have the virtuosos. This is where people start to rise above. What I've watched over the last decade is that swing back and forth has happened faster and faster and faster. The time between the two has changed. So for example, when digital recording came on the scene, everybody swings over here. But then now it starts to feel a little sterile because everybody can make it. So then it swings back, and then some of the artists and craft really matters. Quality really matters. And that's great. Then the home studio comes into play. Everybody swings back over here. And at the same time the home studio comes into play, everybody's making every film that they possibly can, and they're using their cell phone to do it. So now we're all content creators, not just songwriters, not just artists. And again, the sea is overpopulated. And it's really hard to figure out, like, what voice do I have in this? Do I even need to have a voice in this?
Yeah.
I think I would suggest that I'm watching us start to swing back a little bit. And I think we've had that felt need of, why Do we need this? Or where we feel like we're oversaturated, which will likely be the time where those who can, especially for emerging artists, those who want to discipline themselves to become masters of their craft, whether they're songwriting, whether they're video creators and videographers, whether they're in the production room, and whether they're creating. I think we're going to likely come back, and there'll just be a rise of those who discipline themselves to work well and work hard. You're going to see that come back up to the top again, and they will likely be the prominent voices at the table. Mm-hmm. So I'm always trying to watch which way we're swinging, which way is the industry moving.
Yeah.
And so that's part of, I think, the dance that we have to navigate as artists. Yeah. In addition to that, like you're talking about as musicians, and now also somehow we also have to be models who have great pictures taken of us, and we also have to be like video actors. And like I was laughing with somebody earlier today talking about, it's really weird when it's like, I'm gonna stare right into the camera and make me believe that I'm singing this to you, but the truth is I'm singing it to 35 millimeter. It's like, there's nobody there. There's a guy laughing and somebody else eating a burger in the background. Like, how do you do that? I think that's just part of us learning how to steward the gift well.
Yeah.
And maybe just be responsible for the art we have. Like art isn't just fun. It's a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. But I think if you look like within our history, art has been present every single time that culture is shaped and changes.
Yeah.
We as artists actually get to have this, I'll use it like prophetic voice, where we get to speak life into culture, into our local culture, sometimes, if God deems it appropriate, into a larger culture, maybe even national or international culture. And we have a voice that gets to shape the way that people see things. Or we're also observant, and we're going to shape or give a voice to what people are seeing and feeling, and they don't necessarily know how to put that into words or put that into action yet. Well, we as artists get to help collect those thoughts, collect those feelings, and then give voice to them so that people can actually relate with one another and have a common language.
Yeah.
Our art gets to do both of those things. It's a tremendous gift, but it's also a tremendous responsibility. So I think us as artists just need to steward the opportunity as well. And if God's given us something to say, or if he's helped us see something that needs to be said, then I think whether it's film or pictures or music or poems or visual arts, I mean, I wish I could sculpt and paint. I can't, but
right.
I stick people. If stick people ever become famous, I'm in.
Oh yeah, me too. We can do like
okay, good.
Boards with the stick people.
Yeah, we'll do this together. Oh no, you're already like way ahead of me. I can do one. I can't. No, I got limits. I know I got limits.
Fair enough. Well, I love this.
We can do that well. It's good.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like I've been singing a master class. I should have been taking notes, but it's a good thing this is recorded.
Yeah.
I so appreciate your heart and your passion for not just creating a song, but for the value that song will give to a community and the encouragement that it gives. So thank you so much, Jake, for sharing your heart with us today. I know there's more that you would love to share. And so for any stations who might be listening and you want to have Jake a part of one of your programs or interview him, make sure you let us know, because it's so beautiful to hear that people are writing based on their own experience and their journey. And there is like a testimony attached to it and fruit. Actual fruit. So Jake, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks so much, Holly.
And yes, Jake Single doing very well at Christian radio here in Canada. Feel your forgiveness. And thank you so much to all the stations who've already jumped on board. It's been a phenomenal ride so far. It's going to continue. As he mentioned, there's more music from Jake Fretz coming out throughout the year. So keep posted to his website and to his socials. We will do this again, another artist spotlight, if you will. And so make sure you keep posted to our channels as well for 1016 Entertainment for the next time that we'll be doing one of these live conversations with our wonderful artists that we are so honored and blessed to be able to work with on a day-to-day basis when it comes to their music, and making sure that you guys have access to it as well. Thanks to Loretta behind the scenes, making sure this runs smoothly, and for Robin as well, helping us out on the social media side. Have a great rest of your Thursday, guys, and we'll be back again next month with more StreamYards and conversations with 1016 artists.